What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Oscar Dela Hoya. You know, the CEO of Golden Boy Promotions, the ex-5-time world champion himself, said this about Anthony Joshua. Once again, everyone's a critic, right? He states that he always knew that Anthony Joshua had a weak or questionable chin. And it was a matter of time that someone was going to expose that fact. And he's glad that Andy Ruiz was the one to do it. Look, let me counterpunch this. First of all, I think it's always been a war of competition between not necessarily rivals, but promotional companies, rival promotional companies. You know, you got Canelo Alvarez, he's like that guy, okay? And him and Joshua are neck and neck. You know, you got Hearn over here, you got Oscar De La Hoya here. And Oscar De La Hoya, of course, is a Mexican-American, just like Andy Ruiz. So it's easy for him to say, oh, well, he was chinning in the first place, so it was just a matter of time, and I'm glad Andy Ruiz was the one to do it. Well, you know, speaking of someone's chin is one thing. I think he gets caught on higher punches upside his head. But I've seen him take too many other punches from other fighters to just call the man and label him chinny. You know, if this was Amir Khan, yeah, because Amir Khan could get hit with any, and his body locks up. You know what I mean? Legs, everything. He does not have a chin. Anthony Joshua, what he's shown us is that he can be hurt, that he's not invincible. Hell no. He can be hurt. Look what happened to him on the first. Hell yeah. Anybody can get caught with a punch you don't see, including Oscar. And actually, Oscar had a pretty good chin, though. Oscar was a flurry. He was a guy that loved to throw flurries, and he was a southpaw that fought in the orthodox stance, but that left hook was very, very dangerous, and he gave people hell with it. But for him saying that, I think it's just his way of congratulating Ruiz. Some people have to talk like derogatory about a person in order to give another person praise. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I always knew he was chinny, and it was just a way. How do you know that? You know what I mean? All of a sudden you know that. You were never saying that before. You know what I'm saying? Even with a bigger puncher than Ruiz, which is Wilder, everybody still wanted to see that fight. What was the narrative? Was the narrative that, oh, Anthony Joshua really can't take those punches? The thing was, who caught who first? We all knew Deontay Wilder had devastating punching power, but that wasn't really the thing. The thing was, okay, can Wilder deal with the ring IQ or the boxing IQ and the skill set of Joshua, right? Could he walk through that? Could he get around that, right? That obstacle of skill, and along with other punching power coming back from Joshua. Could he do that? That was the question. You know, those were the things that Oscar talked about as far as the fight. But him saying he was chinny, I don't think so. I don't think that was something that he always knew. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe that one bit, because if that was the case, Oscar De La Hoya would have been saying that. He would have been saying that. There's nothing to support what he's saying right now. He's happy for his fighter, his Mexican brethren, which is great. He congratulated him, great. Everybody's ecstatic. You know, the Mexicans are, they have that machismo, living in them real hard, because they got a heavyweight Mexican champion. But don't just start making stuff up. You know what I mean? And again, he's Mexican, Ruiz is Mexican. That's how that favoritism comes in, which is nothing wrong with supporting your national brethren. Nothing wrong with that. I think that Oscar does have something else. I think there's another agenda. I think that, like I said about the rivalry he has with Eddie Hearn. It's not as bad as people think, but it still exists, people. See, De La Hoya, he fights with his big, Canelo on the zone and a lot of other fighters on the zone. So does Eddie Hearn. So these guys fight in America on the zone and they mostly fighting each other. It's like Reebok and Nike with these guys. So it's just I think it's a little haterade to throw. You know what I mean? To throw on the fire. A little haterade gasoline to throw on the fire. And to make it look like Anthony Joshua was lesser than a fighter. But the ironic thing about that is the more you belittle a fighter like Anthony Joshua, calling them chinny and this, that, and the other, and somebody was going to expose, and I'm glad it was Andy Ruiz. Well, you make Andy Ruiz that much less significant, don't you? Think about it. The more they talk about Anthony Joshua, oh man, he was going to get knocked out anyway by somebody. That discredits your brethren, your national brethren. That discredits his win. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he got the TKO. He got the stoppage by the ref. But the way you're saying it, that could have been anybody. Not because Ruiz had the skill set, had the game plan, had the determination, right? Had the heart of a champion. Not because of those reasons. Oh, because Anthony Joshua was already chinny. So anybody could have did that. So let me share that with you. But I'm glad Andy won. Come on now. You know what I mean? It makes no sense, and people need to realize what they do before they do it. Because now he's discrediting Andy Ruiz Jr. Andy Ruiz came out there and they had a perfect game plan. He got caught. He got hurt himself. He was dropped to the canvas the first time in his career. He got back up and showed you who he was and remained with the same game plan. Right? That's why he won. Anthony Joshua, because he was chinny, that's all De La Hoya is really saying. Right? But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about Oscar De La Hoya. I'm tired of counterpunching him. Of course, guys, please subscribe. And you guys been counterpunching. Peace.